24 hours. That's how much notice the creator of OpenClaw got before Anthropic cut the subscription access his project ran on. We verified it. Announced one day, enforced at noon the next. He walked onto the Y Combinator stage and turned that story into the one rule he tells every builder to write down. Your dependency's business model is your business model. Peter Steinberger, 4.7 million weekly downloads at peak, delivered less a victory lap than a crash report. We fact checked the numbers and cut the 7 moments that matter. Quick context, because the source matters. OpenClaw is the open source agent that lets you talk to your coding agents from WhatsApp or Discord. Built by the man who bootstrapped PSPDF kit, burned out, retired, and came back. This is the same startup school stage where Jensen Huang, Claude Code's creator Boris Cherny, Alexander Wang, and Gary Tan spoke. All broken down on this channel, links below. Cut number 6 in the series. Moment 1. On this same stage, one day earlier, Claude Code's creator told builders to let the model cook. Trust the agent with bigger jobs. Peter opens his talk by raising the stakes on that exact sentence. Listen.
Yesterday Boris told you to let the model cook. I'm the guy who found out what happened when tens of thousands of people let it cook at the same time.
That's the whole video in one exchange. Everything Boris told you about trusting agents, Peter ran at population scale. Thousands of strangers, one code base, 8 months. What follows is the bill for that experiment, itemized. What broke, what it cost him personally, and the workflow rules he kept. Moment 2 is where it started. And the start is embarrassingly small. Moment 2. There's no market research in this origin story. There's a rainy day in November, idle tokens, and a man who wanted to check on his agents while raiding the kitchen.
So I came back from the kitchen and my coding agent stopped because of something silly. And I was annoyed. So I spun up a new terminal session, I rambled my idea in, and I let the model cook. It built me a WhatsApp relay. And in an hour later, I could send messages from my Mac to WhatsApp and back.
One annoyance, one rambled prompt, 1 hour to a working relay, which nobody wanted yet. He failed for weeks to explain it on Twitter. So he ran the only test that mattered: group chats with friends. Every demo triggered a strong emotional reaction: amazed, scared, even freaked out. And the non technical friends he told, "Not yet for you," got mad. His verdict: if that's not product market fit, I don't know what is. If people shrug, you don't have it. Moment 3, the night it escaped. Moment 3, first detail. The entire security model, back in January, was one sentence in a markdown file. His words.
I had this prompt in my agents.md that would instruct it, don't do any dangerous tool calls unless the prompt comes from Peter. This was like 6 months ago. Where all the things we wrote in our agents.md felt more like suggestions. So I watched it very carefully. I could always pull the plug. And then at 7 a.m., I was done. I said goodnight, I pressed Control-C, and I went to bed. But of course, I built the software to be resilient, so it was a launch daemon. You know what happens if you press Control-C on a launch daemon? Yeah, it'll be dead for 5 seconds, and it'll start up again. So while I was walking into the bedroom, my agent happily started answering God in the world. And then I slept for 10 hours. When I woke up to around 800 messages. People tried to hack it. I pulled the plug, I freaked out. I read through everything and nothing actually happened. But this was the moment where it went viral.
Sit with that. The guardrail was a polite request, and the kill switch resurrected itself in 5 seconds. He got lucky. 800 messages. No disaster. Then spent months building real sandboxing, allow lists and permissions. If you run agents with tool access, borrow the ending, not the beginning. 8 months on, the numbers got absurd.
OpenClaw. Jensen called it the most successful open source project in the history of humanity. The numbers still don't feel real to me. In 8 months, more than 18,000 different people opened an issue or a pull request. Over 111,000 in total. I did the math. No, who am I lying to? My agent did the math. Almost 3,000 people have commits in the repo.
Second cross receipt of the series. Jensen has been praising OpenClaw for months. We covered it in his own YC talk linked below. The History of Humanity line is from GTC in March. And the scale checks out. We pulled the numbers through the GitHub API. 3,000. 79 people with commits. Over 119,000 issues and pull requests. Moment 4 is the autopsy of what all that success broke. Moment 4. Ask what went wrong and you'd guess hackers or burnout or the trademark lawyers. His answer is more uncomfortable. What nearly sank the project was everyone adding one nice little feature.
Features are the fun part. A new feature is just a prompt away. The real cost comes after. Every feature we shipped, of course, with a configuration option, because we didn't want to break everyone's setup. At our highest, I had to count that, we ended up with around 9,500 configuration options, if you count all the permutations. You can write all the tests you want. It is impossible to cover all of these and not break things from time to time. It is infinitely harder to evolve software that has users.
This is the law of building in the agent era. Generation got cheap, ownership didn't. Every merged feature is a pile of code somebody has to understand forever. And 9,500 switches means no test suite covers the permutations. His own postmortem. I didn't say no enough. His fix. Write a vision.md first. So the default answer to the next cool feature exists before the pull request arrives. Moment 5 is the one that made our title. Moment 5. Competitors with VC money were shipping aggressive marketing and one-line migration tools. He says, none of that really hurt. What hurt was upstream.
The main thing, though, that really hurt the project was Anthropic. Not the name. The part was stressful, but I kind of understood, and they were really nice about it. It was the fact that I optimized too much on their model. I built OpenClaw with Codex and GPT, but the harness for a long time really worked the best and was optimized for Opus. So when they pinged me with around 24 hours notice that they're going to disable the subscription for everyone, there was not really enough time to change course. So maybe write this one down. Your dependencies business model is your business model.
We verified the event. Early April, Anthropic announced consumer subscriptions could no longer power third-party harnesses, enforced at noon the next day. And OpenClaw was the biggest project standing there. They even temporarily banned Peter's own account, before partially restoring access in May through capped SDK credits. Catch why it hurt. Not malice. Misalignment. A subscription priced for one human chatting cannot subsidize swarms of agents running all night. Their business model made the decision inevitable. So run his audit tonight. For every dependency you build on, the model API, the App Store, the platform your traffic comes from, ask what their business model wants and what you'd do with 24 hours notice. If this helps, subscribe, it's free. To back the work, join here or supporter on Facebook. Now, the chart that should calm you down. Moment 6. If you ship anything public, someone will eventually write your obituary. Here's what the actual chart did while they wrote his.
You can see that in our download charts. We bottomed out at around 835,000 weekly downloads in May. And then after being declared deaths in June, we peaked at 4.7 million, the highest ever. Both of those are true at the same time. A hype is like the weather. You might see it coming, but you can't control it. In my case, it was a storm.
We pulled the download data ourselves, straight from the package registry. The curve is real. Roughly 820,000 a week at the trough in May, 4.66 million at the peak in June. His numbers are fair rounding. Both headlines, dead and record breaking, were true at once. Last moment, the confession and the metric. Moment 7 starts with the confession that would kill most product launches, and he volunteers it on stage.
You know, somewhere around February, it stopped being fun. It started to feel like a responsibility. I woke up, and the man who didn't want to build another company found himself in a situation where he had two jobs. Or should I say a job and a calling? I was struggling. And worst of all, I stopped using my own product. Somewhere in that time, I stopped making a product I love, and I worked on making something for everyone. It became. These days, I get annoyed when I have to use software where I can't just send a prompt to my agent to change it. That's the fun part that's coming back. It's hard to compete with someone who's just there having fun. Fun is velocity. The weeks I enjoyed building, the product got visibly better. The weeks I didn't, we shipped config options.
Fun is velocity is not a poster, it's a leading indicator. The weeks he loved the work, the product visibly improved. The weeks he didn't, they shipped config options. If you dread opening your own codebase, your users can see it in the changelog. Here's how the talk ends. 3 instructions.
You only remember 3 things. Number 1, don't stop having fun. Fun is the ultimate driver, so you can get the best ideas. Number 2, listen to your gut. And also, fix the things that annoy you. It might just become the next big thing. And number 3, stay focused. You know, another podcast is not what will make you win. Live in the future, build what's missing, and when they write your obituary, keep shipping, it confuses them. Now, these
7 moments. Products start as annoyances. And honest product market fit is strong emotion, not signups. A polite prompt is not a security model. And Control C is not a kill switch. Features are cheap, ownership is forever. Write the vision file, say no. Your dependency's business model is your business model. Audit yours before it audits you. Hype is weather. Fun is velocity. The founder's joy shows up in the changelog. And his Q&A toolbox from minute 30, the part almost nobody watches, is condensed in the free PDF. We condensed this into the Let It Cook debrief, a free PDF with every quote timestamped to the full talk, the dependency audit as a worksheet, the Q&A toolbox as checklists, and the receipts we verified. Comment the word cook on this video and our assistant sends it over. Or grab it at hyperautomationlabs.co/free/cook. Real talk. 90% of you watching haven't subscribed. On Facebook, subscribe is the supporter button. That is what keeps the lights on here. On YouTube, it's free and it tells the algorithm to send you more. Subscribe to support us. If you're starting out with AI coding tools, the beginner guides are linked below. The complete Claude code guide, the codex guide, the cowork sales guide, and the architect prep kit. The other 5 talks from this stage are broken down and linked below too. We're on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram as Hyperautomation Labs. This week, run the 24-hour audit on one dependency you couldn't lose. See you in the next one.